When you were at Monsanto, what was your title?
At Monsanto, what do you mean?
In Texas City.
Research chemist.
And was that your title during your entire stay at Texas City?
Texas City, yes.
Don't talk over each other.
After you left Texas City...
Wait a minute, let me ask a question here.
Yeah.
Do you represent this guy or not?
Who are you?
My name's Tucker, and I represent Ayrshire, and I just want to know, do you represent the guy or not? I'm getting, if you don't represent him, you don't have any right to be making any objection. If you do represent him, tell us so.
Why don't you keep your mouth shut? I'll do what I want.
No, you're not
Hold
going to do
it.
what you want.
Oh, wait.
I'll do what I want.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
That's
I'm gonna
bullshit.
make whatever objections I want to make, and I'll make them as loud as I want to make them. Or you just shut your mouth and we'll keep the record straight.
Don't tell me to shut my mouth, boy. You may be big, but you want to see how bad you are? Come on.
And I wouldn't try that, Ed.
Are you threatening to fight?
Hold on just a second.
No, I want to know whose side we're on.
Sir.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of lawyers?
Oh, I'm a Christian. You don't want me to answer that.
You never thought it would happen to you. You're hurt, in pain.
You feel desperate, frustrated.
So where do you turn?
Attorney Bruce Flynn! Attorney Bruce Flynn!
If you and your spouse hate each other like poison,
don't beg, get tough.
Pay up and you're on your way to getting rid of that vermin you call a spouse.
The number one thing that the American public has against lawyers is they feel that they make too much money and have too much influence. And they're right.
The image of lawyers has always been terrible. I bought at auction recently a pamphlet produced in, 1774 or 1778, just around the time of the Revolution, saying the scourge of America were the lawyers, and lawyers had to be kept on. And this is the time of John Adams and Thomas Jefferson and James Madison.
Hard to believe that Abraham Lincoln was a trial lawyer with the way the term is used today. And it's a pity, too, because I liken it to professional bigotry.
What do you have when you have a lawyer up to his neck in cement? Not enough cement.
To anyone that makes a lawyer joke, who do you think you're going to call at 3 a.m. from the LAPD station? You answer that, then I'll have a comeback.
If you've not passed the bar, you don't get sworn in as a lawyer, and you are not a lawyer.
Wally Hudson, contracts. Here to help with the bar exam.
Thanks, Wally. Oh, no associate of this firm has ever failed the bar exam.
No kidding.
What do they call somebody who's got a minimally passing score on the bar exam? Lawyer.
Over the last several years, we've had 10,000 to 12,000 people sitting for the bar exam each year.
We keep pumping them out, and they need things to do. They're like, feed me.
Our country already has over 800,000 lawyers, 4 times more than all the other lawyers in the world. And 130,000 more are soon going to graduate.
How many people here are lawyers? Everyone's a lawyer?
The contributions of lawyers to society simply cannot be overstated.
You will be leaders in all your various fields of endeavor. You can use law to make a difference.
Temptations are out there, big and small.
Of course, law schools are populated with neurotic overachievers. This means that most of you are perfectionists and control freaks in addition to being workaholics.
Don't let the intoxicating influence of money make you abuse the law for personal gain. Ladies and gentlemen, please join all of us in congratulating class 2006.
I've always wanted to be a litigator. I've always been that type of person that is willing to sit there and like, wear you down, you know.
Cassie made it. She told me that when she was 5 years old that she wanted to be a lawyer, and she did it.
Awesome. You make lots of money, you go to school for only like 3 years, and then you get to talk and like write and argue. I personally am not super interested in doing labor and employment law because it involves humans, because there are real, live, low-income workers on the other side, and I don't like that.
You know, 9 out of 10 people have negative things to say about lawyers, but of those 9 out of 10, you know, 10 out of 10 would have their kid become a lawyer when he gets older.
A friend of mine is convinced I'm going to be an artist slash DJ slash lawyer. I guess my job after the bar will be to find a job. Oh, I wanted to hit on that guy. Yeah, we were talking. Yeah. Well, I went to law school because I liked the fact that it changed society and it helped people who needed help. I'm a person who still cares about the same things. Like equality, that stuff is really, really important to me. But that was the idealistic person coming into law school prior to loans and, you know, needing to repay them. So.
Tuition is not modest. $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
I'm an indebted person. My soul belongs to Sally Mae.
You emerge with whatever loans you had as an undergraduate underneath a layer of, you know, at least $100,000 to $120,000 of debt from law school.
I just had an accident after leaving my apartment, and it wasn't my fault. This is my attorney asking me if I was injured. I'm telling him my knee and my back. This would be an example of negligence, I believe. Drivers have a duty to drive like a reasonably ordinary, prudent person would drive, which includes, you know, looking both ways at a stop sign. And a breach of that duty to other drivers occurred by not looking in both ways. I was trying to call my attorney, and they're like, everybody just, you don't need an attorney, this is a civil action. I didn't tell them that I'm almost an attorney, so I know when I need to be contacting somebody.
If you ever been injured in a wreck and you really, really, really need a check, call Cook.
We don't all go from high school to Yale or to Stanford or wherever. Some of us, you know what, from high school, if we finish, I didn't finish high school, to community college, to university, and then to an unaccredited law school. There's another path. I grew up in East LA since I was about 6 years old. Before that, I lived in Mexico. I just moved into this house in August. I moved in with my boyfriend, Sammy.
This beautiful woman and I are getting married.
That's my family portrait. I have 5 brothers and 4 sisters. We're 5 and 5.
My son, Lyndon, is 16 and a half years old. He is an artist. He's very, very gifted. You're off, Sammy?
I'm taking off. Would you mind just turning it off before you guys leave?
Turn off the coffee pot. Yes, I will turn off the coffee pot.
Bye.
I really want to do like landlord-tenant, you know, law to defend tenants. I just see so many things. Being a tenant to this day. Everybody around me believes I'm going to pass the bar the first time, and I think the only one who doesn't believe it is, you know, myself. But I'm working on that.
After you failed the bar once, you think that there's nothing left they can do to you, and then you fail it again, and it hurts worse. The thing that separates me from sitting in there with a desk and sitting here at a cubicle is passing the bar. No one's been in it for about a month, so it's been kind of taunting me.
Let's make it really big for this guy. Please give it up for Mr. Sam Garrett.
You know, it's weird failing the bar because you've graduated, everybody wants to know what you've done, and you don't have a license. $200,000 education, no license. It's like I'm paying off a house I don't get to live in. Today is my last day at Countrywide. Who should I take my timesheet to at the end of the day? My supervisor trainer is taking me out to lunch. Everybody's gonna miss me.
No exam has been more assaulted, criticized, vilified, examined, re-examined, re-evaluated, and vindicated as our exam has. The California pass rate on the bar examination is a point of major interest. But there are a lot of people out there who have struggled with the California bar exam.
Twice up in Long Beach at different convention centers. San Diego, up in the Bay Area, Anaheim, Buena Park, Pomona, Ontario, Los Angeles, and Pasadena. Those are the different places I've taken the California bar.
I told him I want to walk me down the aisle in his
My dress blues.
God, we were young there.
My name is Don Baumeister. I am a social worker by training, and I've taken the bar exam in California 41 times. I've taken the bar exam in California 41 times.
If you take it as many times as Don has, he doesn't give up.
I'm a Vietnam veteran. I spent 3 years in college, graduated, went into the Marines.
The longer it takes, the bigger party we're gonna have for him. So that's that's our goal.
Hopefully.
Well, it's personal at this point. It's personal. It's between the bar examiners and me. Feel that support.
You feel that support?
You feel that?
Of course.
I disclosed on day one, like, you know, everybody goes around the room, hi, my name is Sally, I went to USC and I like boats. It was like, hi, my name is Cassandra, I went to Duke and I got pregnant and I've got a child. I came back the summer after my freshman year, and then we spent like every second that summer together. I literally got pregnant during Christmas break. Jim's an artist, so he pretty much makes his own hours. You know, he doesn't have like a real like job, 9 to 5 sort of thing.
I'm gonna go to the studio for a little bit.
No.
He's staying and he doesn't want me to go.
He's pretty much Alex's primary caregiver.
When he's in school, I take him to school and see him through to bedtime. I found I enjoy it more than anything. If I had to choose between some sort of corporate life or business schedule as opposed to being with my son, I wouldn't do anything other than what I'm doing.
Jim is his security blanket, and I'm just sort of his mom. It makes sense that he's like that, but it seriously hurts. He's so little, he's only 4, so it's not like he can understand, look, mommy's going through the bar exam, that's a really big deal, and if I fail, then life ends, you know, I mean, so he doesn't really get that.
The biggest reason students fail is that other things in their life take a role. You've got to get somebody to take care of your kids from now until the bar.
Like in my world, I never want Jim to have a 9 to 5. Number one, he's not very good at them. He's had like, I don't know, about 40 jobs in his life. If we could afford to buy a ring, we'd totally be engaged. A ring. I mean, we're gonna get married. The ring is just a formality, and I want a pretty ring, you know, and I want my ring. Like a kid, and 7 years later, like, I've earned a fucking ring. I'll finance it if I have to. See, my whole thing is that I want a very small wedding, like under 100 people, in a beautiful, expensive, beautiful, gorgeous location with everything flawless. It's just sad because I want him to have that. Like, I want him to see us. You know, walking down the aisle and I'm in a big white dress and Daddy's there and we're, you know, getting married, and he knows the parties because then he gets to go and dance.
was actually, it started out, I was trying to paint a field with flowers. The joke was, if I don't get a job as a lawyer, I'll sell my stuff on the streets. At this point, I'm interested in getting a job that does not involve litigation, i.e. any involvement with being in a courtroom at all. That's not gonna work for me.
I'm a lawyer! That's my job! That's what I do! My client should go right to fucking jail!
I don't have the requisite angry streak.
You son of a bitch! My client!
You have to have a combatant's mentality. You have to have a warrior's mentality to be a trial lawyer. This is not for the faint of heart here.
I've been boxing for 20 years. It's got a lot of parallels to being a trial lawyer. Because if you get distracted in the courtroom, you're going to miss something. And if you get distracted while you're sparring with somebody, you're going to get knocked out.
I got a little carried away. My dad passed away second year of law school. Growing up, before I had inclinations of becoming a lawyer, he would always make lawyer jokes at the table. Like he was, morally opposed to lawyers and just always had lawyer jokes. And irony. He was just like an amazing, brilliant person, and he always had an opinion on something, and he would say anything, anytime. I admired that about him, and I kind of wish I was able to do that sometimes. I went to law school because I wanted to change the way society works and how we interact with each other, and laws do that. He said one of 3 things he wanted to do before he died was to see me graduate law school. And so my mom brought a picture of him, and he was very proud of me and was really excited. So yeah.
This is the house I grew up in. I lived here from the time I was about 5 years old. My mother sells gravestones out of her front yard. We're right across the street from the Calvary Cemetery. I'm sorry for your loss. Here's my card. Are you a lawyer? No, a gravestone salesperson. We talked about 2 weeks ago, and we decided to get married in November, like the early part of November, before I know if I passed the bar or not. So you're stuck.
I would do it today if I can, but I have to wait till she passes the bar.
I mean, the bar exam, whatever, it's just such a big thing where you gotta put your whole life in it and study, and it's just so stressful and everything like that. Like, I wouldn't want to give up my whole life for like a test.
Sometimes I feel really bad that this time I should really be so excited about getting married and all the, the details and everything, and I'm just, so somewhere else.
I'm a secretary, doesn't pay much, and I have many, many expenses this year, and I guess it was a very good time for us. I mean, to consolidate our homes together.
A lot of times I'm awestruck by the kind of work and commitment that it takes, because she has a full-time job, she's an activist, she has a son to raise, she has a boyfriend or now fiance to deal with, and she can get a law degree. And this is something I do not know how many people can manage to do that. But I'll be very happy for her when it's all over. I know she's going to pass it the first time.
There's no test that I took before like this. I studied harder for it the first time than I studied for anything I ever took in my life. I graduated Phi Beta Kappa with a degree in history and a minor in Latin. And there are a lot of people who aren't as smart, who are lawyers, who pass the test. It's not about whether or not you're smart. It's about playing their game.
It's a fascinating test. It probably instills more anxiety in students than any other standardized test that I've ever been around.
It's a do or die.
They're going to see their life pass before their eyes.
I developed what was later determined to be a kidney stone.
Here I am, a year removed, and I'm in the same place, doing the same thing. and my friends are lawyers, they have cases. When I was in the 1st grade, they had a test on a wall. You had to read down the list of words, and I got stuck on like the 3rd word. And they said I was stupid. My dad had me retested, and then the retest said that I was like almost gifted, and the people who gave me the test the first time insisted that I was stupid. And I kind of have been spending my time since then demonstrating that they were wrong. And this is pretty much the first time I've failed anything since then. And there's not really that much I can do other than just keep taking this test until I pass it.
Bonjour, monsieur. Oui, ça va. Et vous? Ah, parfait. I went to University of Wisconsin in Madison. I triple majored in 4 years in French, international relations, political science, and a minor in European studies. La prochaine fois. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir. Bonne journée. I'm a member of Ho-Chunk Nation, which is a tribe in Wisconsin. And I'm part Native American. And my tribe offers a fellowship for tribal members to go on to law school. One of the major considerations was if I can get into a good law school, it'd be almost like a sin not to do it. UCLA, I'm not sure if you are aware, has the highest pass rate in the state right now with 89%. So that means 33 people aren't going to pass. And I don't want to be one of those 33. Okay, so this is the graduation edition of the Ho-Chunk newspaper. So let's just take a look at who graduated. La-di-da. Oh, there we go. Could that be any bigger? I burst out laughing. I'm under a contractual obligation, yes. They called me and offered me a job about 2 months ago, but it was more of a courtesy than really desperately needing me. So I politely said, if you can find somebody else to take the job, they can have it. If you really need me, obviously I will fulfill my obligation. My dad took this picture and sent it to me on my brother's birthday because he just turned 25. He's good, he's fine. Yeah, he's on the ankle bracelet. He was drinking and he had a hit and run. The judge took factors in sentencing him to jail. She took factors of the arrest that night, which were not his fault. They are the fault of the police and the police report. But it's infuriating because the more that I work through like criminal procedure, it's just so clear to me all the things that went wrong. And there should be some compensation.
You know, it's easy to mock a lawyer until and unless you need one. Then they're the most important person in your life.
Most of the time, what you spend doing on the defense side is an investigation where you learn my client did it, and then you figure out how you're going to get the case thrown out on a motion to dismiss.
You know, I wrote a book about it, and the theme was the difference between legal justice and moral justice. We have a system of justice that is designed to make sure that innocent people are never convicted. And we pay a cost, and that is that guilty people sometimes do and will go free. Simpson case, the jury has spoken. People will always have their own beliefs. I believe that legal justice was done.
Distinctly, I remember it was in the bleak December, and a separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Vainly I had sought the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow. Sorrow for the loss of Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. I am related to a famous lawyer. His name is Clarence Darrow. One of his famous quotes is, no one likes an advocate for the despised and the damned. And that's sort of what I am anyway as a social worker, so I'd like to be a public defender at least for a while. If we go back to when I started law school, it'll be 30 years.
Oh yeah, those are the running pictures. Yeah.
Part of the reason I'm doing this is as a message to my kids. It's, you know, one thing to say people beat you down and, you know, get up and try again. It's another thing to do it.
This is our monopoly. The bottom line is that the bar exam limits the number of people who can be lawyers.
It should be a minimal competency test. It shouldn't be a competitive test. It should be a test of anybody who wants to be a lawyer and who's not unqualified should become a lawyer.
Of course, local bars don't want to do that because they want to control competition. A state like California, for example, would be overrun with lawyers.
There's only been 2 times that I've been close. One time I made it into the second reading, and then the other time was when I missed it by less than 4 points. After that, I wrote the article. The article was that I was the dumbest lawyer in California. The title that was eventually put on the article was "Fuck the Bar." I don't use that language, but that's gotten some recognition because of the title.
What's on the bar exam? Carl was a passenger in Vic's car. While driving in a desolate mountain area, Vic stopped and offered Carl a hallucinogenic drug. Carl refused, but Vic said if Carl wished to stay in the car, he would have to join Vic in using the drug. Fearing that he would be abandoned many miles from the nearest town, Carl ingested the drug. While under the influence of the drug, Carl killed Vic, left the body beside the road, and drove Vic's car to town. Later, he was arrested by police officers who had discovered Vic's body. At trial, Carl testified about his total lack of recall of the killing. Please explain in essay form. Can a jury convict Carl of A, first-degree murder, B, second-degree murder, or C, involuntary manslaughter? Discuss!
The firm is awesome. They're McCormick Barstow, have a huge litigation department. Apparently they used to be all litigation, and that's exactly what I wanted to go into. I'm anticipating working long hours. I'm anticipating that, you know, this will be like my life.
Law students who go to big firms can expect to be working very, very hard immediately upon graduation. They're probably going to put in maybe 3,000 hours a year.
I just got my stipend in the mail for my living expenses for the summer. I mean, they've just really taken care of me. They paid all of my expenses for the bar.
Starting lawyers, in other words, people who are just right out of law school, 25 years old, is about $165,000, $170,000.
What's the first word you think of when you think of lawyers?
Money.
$600 an hour? What the hell could I do for $600 an hour?
What's the difference between a stork and an attorney? One can stick his bill up his ass. The other one should.
And when you have law firms paying people $140,000 to start, it doesn't take a lot of imagination to say, oh, I'll take one of those jobs and pay off my loans in 3 years. Of course, by the time they've done it, they've also got a BMW and a condo, and they can't afford to quit.
But you have to understand, you graduate with all this law school debt, you got to go join a firm to make the money, and then you're just a fungible billing unit that's feeding the lawsuit machine.
Well, America on one hand is ridiculously litigious. You know, they want to sue everything that moves. And on the other hand, they hate lawyers.
I think everybody, when something bad happens to you, you're mad. You want to just get revenge. But our system is unique in encouraging litigation as the solution.
We used to have an assumption of the risk society. If you take on the risk, then you will suffer the consequences and not expect somebody to fill your pocket as a result.
I'm on my way to see the chiropractor for my back and also meet with an attorney. You hit my car, I have to get a new one and pay for it? I don't think so. Oh, we still have some time on here.
Personal injury is torts.
I took torts my first year. I can pretty much spot torts when I see them.
A tort is a wrongful act that the law has decided should be merited in damages.
Any frivolous lawsuit that's been filed that you've heard of is probably a tort.
A lot of things that in the past we would have just said, well, that's unfortunate, but we're not going to give people money. And lawyers have pushed it, understandably, and some courts have been receptive to it.
I think one of my favorite examples was a woman who sued her obstetrician after childbirth. It hurt.
Everybody points to the Stella Liebeck case as the typical example of a frivolous lawsuit?
Stella LeBecq, who was a lady who spilled McDonald's coffee in her lap, sued the restaurant and won $2.9 million. The judge thought that was excessive and reduced it to $640,000.
If you're a coffee drinker, you know coffee is hot.
If you spill it on yourself, it's gonna burn.
Yep.
I'm constantly thinking about torts and lawsuits, like the tags on hair dryers. It's because someone sued because they, fucking idiot, dropped their hair dryer in water while they were using it and got electrocuted.
Probably my favorite is the baby stroller with a tag on it that says, "Please remove child before folding."
This is extra strength feminine deodorant spray for external use only. In other words, don't drink this. Or also, do not spray this product directly into your vagina or into your eyes.
Cigarettes. People suing the cigarette company. Who told you to smoke? You see the sign on the side of the cigarette said, Surgeon General warning, smoking causes lung cancer. Why? All of a sudden you catch lung cancer, you want to sue the cigarette people.
If we had loser pays, where the people who bring those suits, where the client and the lawyer would have to pay when they lose, then I say, God bless, sue McDonald's if you think the coffee's too hot.
Everyone just seems kind of over law school at this point, but I think we're still kind of dazed and in shock that Barbary has started.
There is one company, Barbary, who dominates preparation for this exam.
You pretty much have to take Barbary if you want to pass.
This is where my ass is planted every day.
It is going to be an expensive summer.
The pressure is mounting. Every time I do this, there's very serious consequences. It's not like I'm a trust fund baby.
Barbary's a lot, $3,000, and you really can't work.
I have no idea what I'm gonna do to pay the rent.
One of my concerns about going to the morning session is it's so full. I like it now because I can obviously spread my stuff out and kick back. I don't want to be so close to everybody and people breathing down my neck. Like, I've got a couple guys that sit behind me, and for whatever reason, they like to narrate my every move. When I'm trying to learn and take in information, I just don't need any distractions.
It's all rote memorization. I mean, it's just this massive quantity of information. Every single day from like 9 to 9 you study. I've lost track of all sense of time. I mean, weekends don't matter, Mondays don't matter. Hey, you guys. Yeah.
After supporting the bar prep industry for all these years, I just need the help, and I need a tutor that can get me where I need to be.
I am Chad Troutwine. For the last 17 years, I have helped people do well on standardized exams. Through this whole process of putting together a bar review course, what would be a more interesting test case than working with someone who had failed the bar in the past? And then maybe beyond that, someone who had failed it many, many times. And there was that sort of eureka moment when I first learned about Don Baumeister, who had taken and failed the California bar 41 times.
The man that met the legend. Hi, Don.
Nice meeting you, Chad.
Nice meeting you.
Nice
Chad Troutwine. I help people do well on tests.
That's what I need.
To me, you've shown the kind of security and toughness to keep going at it. Some people would take one or two and it wouldn't work out, and they would sort of tuck tail and go. You, if anything, show a more tenacity.
I wanted to combine the therapy with the law. I'd like to do trial work, and I need your help to get there.
I'm going to customize something based on your strengths and weaknesses. As we work, I'll go from maybes to we can. I hope this is going to be a new experience for you in some ways. You know,
I want to be a successful experience.
Exactly. Great.
Chad, thank you very much.
Looking
Nice
forward to it,
meeting you,
Don.
sir.
Yeah,
Nice meeting
pleasure.
you. Thank you very much. I'm ready. Let's start. This is a dream come true for me, so I'm ready to make this work.
You know, you really have to be prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, even spiritually, whatever works for you. It's you know, you have to take it on and be focused 110% on that exam.
One of the reasons I did choose LA is because I've always been a bit of a performer. And I've been juggling law school and acting out here as much as a law student can, I guess. I've been 60% law school, 40% putting my energy in this last year. My grades the last year would have been a lot better, but I decided, you know.
Jim, I can see.
At least somebody's getting some. Who f***ing needs foreplay when you don't even f***? Right, baby? I just feel like I have something, and maybe everybody feels that way, but I just feel like something's gonna happen for me.
One of the things I'm afraid of is I feel that if I let people down, you know, so that's why the support that I have, it's great, but it can also work against me, like, oh, what if I fail? I just graduated from People's College about 2 weeks ago, so I can't quite find the exit door. But People's College of Law, I think, is revolutionary. We're not the traditional American white picket fence family. If People's College of Law were not around, I would not have gone to law school. I would not have gone to law school, my background and all that. Today is an open house to invite people from the community to learn about the school and possibly enroll. Maria is just an extraordinary role model. She has been there from the beginning. A person who just got angry enough to form a law school from scratch.
Once upon a time in the early 1970s, we realized that if we really, really, really wanted to make a difference, we needed access to power. And we focused on legal power. We've turned out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people's advocates. That's what this place is about. The reason that your tuition will be as low as it will be when you are here is because every teacher who is in this school, judges, lawyers, community advocates, is here voluntarily.
Have you become a corporate lawyer?
If you really want to, but trust me, corporations don't have consciences. Okay? They're not people and they don't have consciences. Okay? If you want to be a corporate lawyer, this is the wrong place. Ask yourselves this question. If we don't go out there and represent the other people in our community, who the hell will?
Japan has a bad thing, no litigation. And the Japanese people just stand there and take whatever crap the corporations give them, and they don't fight back. I'd much rather live in a country where people fight back, people know their rights, don't tread on me, and that's very American.
I've got here a company that's very high-handed. They know the truth, but they won't say it. They have the power to keep a secret, and by their secrecy, they've killed or wounded countless people. Now, we've got jurors that are going to hold that company accountable.
A few days ago, Alex started to get sick. He had strep throat. We had to admit him to the hospital because he just kept getting sicker and sicker and we couldn't control it. So he's been in the hospital for the past 2 days. In my mind, like me, you know, splitting out on Alex when he's in the hospital and me studying for the bar, they're both like for Alex. I'm doing this for him. I'm doing this so that I can provide for him. I'm never gonna be able to be there for him right now. But not passing the bar, the future magnitude of that is way bigger to me.
A lot of women drop out of the big firm lifestyle way before making partner, and I think for a lot of them it's because they realize there's no way to have it all.
my family. So my mother is an artist. She got her MFA at University of South Florida, and she does sculpture type art. A lot of her stuff is really dark about her childhood, and her oddity is she uses roadkill in her pieces. Not all kinds, but she. When I was a kid, she used to stop the car and go pick up birds and things and then put them in the chemicals. I didn't touch any of that. I'd sink down at the bottom of my seat. People have been saying I should be a lawyer since I was a little kid. But September 11th was one of the reasons I went to law school. I thought I wanted to be a professor, and then I thought it might be better to be more active in the world, so I wanted to go to law school. Today we're going to meet Stephen J. Fish. He's my friend from my 1L.
I know they say do all the reading, but...
Now he's in court and he's doing all the good stuff that I want to be doing.
You know, you can say to people that you're an attorney at law. You'd just be amazed at the response. Oh, you're an attorney? Oh, you want to talk to me about my problem?
It's coming really slow.
Then do your practice. That's the big thing. Just practice. Start trying to learn those little mini outlines. You know, for each area. You go substantive law, you know, the elements of the crime, have those outlines ready just to like write out real quick. You know, I think bottom line is you just got to do what works for you.
But nothing's worked.
Wow. I gotta head back. I got a hearing later.
Wow.
Hearing that you could do. You're going to be doing in 6 months.
I would love to have a law firm with Steve Fish. Fish and Garrett. We need a third name.
Hardest week, and I just kept saying I can't wait to go to church on Sunday. It's because it's really like my highlight of the week.
In law school, we're taught to challenge everything. If there's like an inkling of a legit case, hey, why not, right?
A lot of lawyers' behavior ratchets things up unnecessarily, triggers lawsuits preemptively.
Trial lawyers are cleverer than anybody, and they will also win in the public debate every time because they argue better than everybody, because practice makes perfect. They fight for a living.
Any news from the asylum?
I think 75% of it is courage, desire to win it within the rules, whatever time it takes. That's what I think the DNA of a lawyer is, a trial lawyer.
Well, I'm not going with that argument with anybody. I already know what I want to say. It's all bullshit. Well, you see that crown?
Newsweek and Time named me the King of Tarts about 1974.
I didn't do very well in tarts. I didn't pass tarts.
Well, the judges thought it was funny as hell. There was a great camaraderie with the judges and lawyers at that time. It isn't there anymore. The way we got the damages in that case is that the jury found that Pennzoil had a contract and that Texaco was guilty of interfering with that contract. That's my job, is to make them see that, or any good lawyer's job.
Joe Jamail, of course. I mean, Joe Jamail, Texaco, one of the greats when it comes to hard-nosed, to-the-wall litigators who can do it with a slow drawl as they put the knife in your back.
It's talent, not personality. That's as modest as I can be with you.
But don't be telling another lawyer to shut up. Don't be that ain't your goddamn job, fat boy.
Mr.
Get back.
Hairpiece,
Now you got that
before, you have an incipient bad
What do you want to do about it, asshole?
Oh, I'd like to knock you on your ass.
Come try it.
Wait a minute.
Come over here and try it, you dumb son of a bitch.
Wait just a second.
Texas is a state where we say you can do whatever you're big enough to do. By George, Joe was big enough to get that verdict.
I sometimes think juries look at these things and they say the money's not coming from anybody.
Sure, we all pay for it. You know, we pay for it in the form of higher insurance premiums. We pay for it in the form of higher costs of the products that we buy.
I mean, we all walk around with this paranoid feeling that, simultaneously we're thinking, what's in the best interest of a patient, and can I defend myself in court?
Everything is more and more expensive because of lawsuits. Lawsuits are about 2.2% of our gross domestic product. It's a big, big number.
Beginning last week, I just had a hair here, a hair there, you know, and then later on, I'm even afraid to do this. You know, I end up with hair in my hand. I might appear relaxed, but my hair is falling off, and I'm constantly grinding my teeth, clutching my jaws. I'm stressed out.
We don't artificially create, an unnecessarily stressful circumstance, but exam taking is stressful. In 1986, a frustrated applicant who had failed the bar exam 3 times burnt down the State Bar's building. The State Bar moved facilities as a result of that.
The nerves really build up. Frankly, it's a survival contest. How do you keep all the information in your head and then be ready to vomit it out on the day of the bar exam?
Okay, you know what's doing it to me? I'll tell you what's doing it to me. It's the fact that we have one subject after the next subject after the next subject with no break. And it's so much technical information that... Oh my God, do you know what I tried to do? During lecture, I tried to take the outline and slowly kill myself. It didn't go so well, because look, I'm still here. I can't learn anymore. I really can't. Stupid. I really expect us to learn it. It's not going to happen. Yesterday I had a coffee this size at 2 o'clock. No, actually it was the venti at Starbucks with the 3 shots of espresso. and I drank that, and then I thought at 5 it would be a great idea to go get another one. So I did. And then I went and ran 7 miles at the gym at 10 at night. I was like the only asshole in there, like going crazy on the treadmill.
Hi, Chad. How you doing?
Good.
Good seeing you again.
Seeing you again. We both know you've got an audience, and it's an audience of bar exam graders, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to have you do just a short writing assignment. This is going to be a test of your writing ability and how you address a problem. You have to demonstrate to the grader, is this written by someone they believe is ready to practice law? Mm-hmm.
This is the outline, and this is the first paragraph.
This just looking at it, this doesn't look like it's going to be written by someone who's going to crush the essay.
It's not just his bad handwriting, and it's atrocious. He doesn't call things out. First, this issue. Second, this issue. Nothing is underlined. It's average legal knowledge dressed up in an embarrassingly bad format.
They have to work hard to divine the correct answers out of your scrawling. It builds in a negative mindset.
Don doesn't lack the IQ. He just doesn't write like a lawyer.
It's getting tiring. We're all frustrated. Why is it being so difficult? I wanted him to give up.
You know, the old Clint Eastwood, a man needs to know his limitations.
Flourishes of greatness coupled with missing the boat won't get it done. I've been spotting all the issues. I haven't been missing issues. I trust that if I just keep doing it, I'll get better at it and faster, and we'll see some results. You pretty much have one shot, and I've been fortunate to have 3. My father paid for the last ones. I paid for the first one with my bar loan. He's a great guy. These are the postcards my brother sent me when he was in basic over at Fort Bragg. Starting when we were really young, my mom would do something that would be a little odd, or she'd tell you one thing and then do something else. She had her first nervous breakdown when I was, I think, 4 years old. I'll never know what it's like to be her, and wake up and have those pills to deal with, and the painful memories. A lot of her art is very dark, and there's a lot of nightmares there. My father would take my brother and I to church. When we'd come back, he would make us keep the car in the driveway, and he wouldn't let us get out, and he would go into the house, and then he would come back out and he'd tell us we can come in. And I always was like, why? Why are we waiting? And years later, when I think I was like starting high school or something, I don't know, I asked him again, and he told me it was because Mom threatened to commit suicide, and that she was going to be swinging from the tree in the backyard by the time we got back from church. You can't help but feel just awful. I worried about her.
I told him that when you get out of the hospital and you get all better, that you get a superpower.
You are so freakish. You telling me he has a superpower because he comes out of the hospital?
When we survive these hardships or whatnot, we usually come out of it with something.
I don't like IVs. You are not alone, child.
Yeah.
I felt like a bad mom the whole time. I mean, like, literally the whole time. I was like, I am so absentee. I'm totally going to hell.
My dad was there.
It was like one thing after another, and I'm sitting here going like, okay, that stinks, but I really need to learn torts. I really need to learn evidence. I only have 2 days.
You know, and I'm looking at my son now. He's 17 years old, and he like really has never had me there. I have never had time, no, never. Since I was 13 years old, I have worked full time and gone to school. The 2.5 years I spent at East LA College were very hard, but I just like ended up in this English 101 class with the most wonderful teacher. And I wrote a paper for her, like for the end of the semester. And when I got it back, I just looked at it and I said, wow, this fail almost looks like an A. And it turns out it was an A+. And I'm actually gonna read, I have it with me today, I took it out. As soon as I find it, here it is, with all the other papers I carry here. She wrote, wow, where have you been all semester? She said, this is one of the best papers I've ever read. And this is what just really has carried me, I think, through these years. I have no doubt that you will succeed in whatever you choose to do with your life. I wish you the very best of luck in your academic goals. Again, you are truly an impressive woman and a role model for all Hispanics. I don't think I'm stupid, but I think people who speak with an accent or, are English as a second language, we tend to be written off as people who just are not going to succeed. Passing this exam is going to give me a big old giant boost.
3 weeks ago, I was still kind of like, la-da-da, taking the bar exam and doing my stuff, and now I'm just 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. working. Maybe it's not obvious yet, or maybe it is, that I'm this ultimate perfectionist, but that's because when things aren't perfect in the home, you do whatever you can on the outside or to make the outside world think you're perfect. So I mean, I was always a straight A student, and I suffered from problems with, an unhealthy relationship with food for like 8 years. And there's definitely issues of chemical dependency. Most like adult children of alcoholics still have those kind of problems. I'll be okay. I'll pass. Hi there. How are you today?
So tell me what's going on today.
It's pretty much the same.
Okay.
With the back pain and the neck pain and the shoulder pain. It's a personal injury lawsuit for pain and suffering, and I'm not going to be meeting with an attorney anytime soon because we need to get through my pain first and actually have a certain amount of time that I've been going to a doctor on which to calculate damages.
There it is.
I wouldn't necessarily want to be a personal injury attorney, but people do suffer injuries and should recover for them. That's why we have the laws that we have.
Personal injury lawyers are the gladiators of society.
A good lawyer, a good plaintiff's lawyer, can take pain and suffering off the root.
My name is Mark Lanier. I'm a trial lawyer. I try cases all over the country. My claim to fame probably are my 5 kids, but if we talk in terms of legal circles, it's got to be some verdicts I've won on behalf of the poor and the downtrodden.
If you had a picture of a lawyer who comes into the courtroom and he gives the oar that he owns it, that's what Mark Lanier gave.
The Vioxx story is a lurid story of the drug company that turned its back on its proud drug past and turned itself into an ATM machine. Bob Ernst was 57 years old. He had hand pain. His doctor prescribes Vioxx. Bob Ernst takes it for 7 months, has a heart attack, and then he dies.
He did his homework. He knew where I worked. He knew how many kids I had. He even knew my wife's name.
Bob Ernst had about 25 years left to live on his life. And I asked the jury to award money for those 25 years, remembering that Merck paid $1 million just for its initial product launch party for its sales reps. I said, please, let Mrs. Ernst know that every year of her husband's life is worth at least one Merck party. So that's $25 million. The other $229 million was the punitive damages.
He has a party every year that he invites celebrities to his home, and he invites everybody who's involved in the trial to come out and just enjoy themselves. Yeah, I went to several of them. They're great,
And most corporate lawyers will immediately tell a jury, do not treat us like a company, treat us like an individual. And I say, okay, well, this company wants to be treated like a person. I'm going to prove that this company made a conscious decision to kill a certain number of people because of the dollar. If I can prove that, what do we need to do with this company? Their response is almost uniform. Well, we need to kill them, which only means money to a corporation. You can't technically strap them into a gurney and inject them lethally with drugs. What really has happened because of lawsuits is products are safer. Cars now have seat belts in them. They now have airbags in them. There's all sorts of ways that America is safer because of lawsuits and the threat of litigation.
Which one is this? Oh, question 1. Okay. The title is in the husband. I just want it to be over. Yeah, the rule against perpetuities. If a question comes up, I really don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna move on.
When I took it, there was one area of law I just couldn't grasp.
Rule against perpetuities, that is
Some sort of a real estate, sort of a property owner's right thing.
if you leave something to somebody and it doesn't vest based on
the life of A is a person and
the gift or the devise is.
I don't know. It's just really hard.
I'll get it for the exam.
It's for people far smarter than I.
I do know about the rule against perpetuities. Any contingent, remainder, executory interest following the Cypress doctrine, which is to try to get to as close to what the grantor intended. Rule called the wait and see method, where we wait until the end of that life. That's the best way I can explain it to you.
Today, we're taking a trip to a hypnotherapist to provide some good ways to get through the next couple weeks without having a major meltdown.
deep sleep and drifting even deeper asleep now. And I'm going to have you lift up the right arm. So just hold it straight out in front of you. Excellent. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you go ahead and put any remaining fear or worry or doubt that you have with that test into that arm. And it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And go ahead and put everything in there, the negative associations, the comments, the feelings, the ideas, and go ahead and pass it again and drifting even deeper asleep. The information that you continue to study and learn over the next few days and weeks to come, you will retain. You have this ability. Coming up at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, his eyes open, wide awake. Just take a minute.
It was such like an epiphany. Learning information really isn't a punishment, you know. I'm gonna pass. Now I know it.
Well, the big day on Tuesday. Do you feel ready?
I've let them down so many times, so they don't want to get their hopes up. Part of the reason that I continue to do this is I really believe that I'm going to beat them at their own game. I'm not willing to back down. It's about setting goals and meeting those goals.
C, the promise would be enforceable if a bargain for exchange was so intended. Or D, the promise constituted avoidable proposal.
It's C, because it's a consideration question.
He's always had this perseverance. He will never give up.
I can tell that you're really building towards something better and better.
I've dropped about 30 pounds.
Good for you. Don't be overly concerned if you have one bad moment. You can share it with me.
I've been able more recently to be able to do that because I've been more focused on the stamina. Success can be my story, as opposed to failure.
Don, Clarence Darrow was known for that 12-hour closing argument. He continued until he was sure the judge would do what he wanted or would die listening to him. Never, never, never give up. You'll make it.
This is the end of classes. Then we're on our own. They'll have simulated exams, but this is the actual end of the substantive material. Which is too bad because I don't know where the time went. Boys. Who has time for boys? Not me.
For the California Bar examination. The registration is a separate application.
Oh, today was a really, really hard day.
If you're not registered, please submit a registration.
I'm just a little upset. The bar claimed that she didn't have enough units within each academic year, notwithstanding the fact that she has several hundred hours over the total that's required. Okay?
I found out that I'm not going to be able to sit for the July bar.
We've shed a goodly number of tears over the situation. It is that significant to us.
It was just a really big defeat. I was counting on this exam for years. I didn't take a vacation. I was like really careful with how much sick time I used.
Ay, caramba.
I just felt like I let all these people down. Like my son who's been waiting, you know, for his mom to be okay. The bar exam is tomorrow, and I should have been sitting there.
Hour is not even 24 remain. I'm trying to remember to pack everything. I'm trying to remember everything I've learned. There are little gaps. You know, there's still little gaps. But a majority of it is filled in and it's on its way.
My house is like a friggin' mess. The dog's like screaming. This is what I need to get to Ontario.
Okay, hi, this is it. This is the day of. I did not sleep well last night.
I wish I had one more week, but it'll be okay.
The bottom line is I only want to do this one more time.
Hot.
duty of loyalty, duty of confidentiality, duty of competence.
Contract for marriage, no binding consideration.
Estoppel, necessity, destruction, condemnation.
The rights of the grantor is extinguishable if it doesn't occur.
Battery, assault, false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. I'm totally gonna pass.
There's no reason on earth to go to Ontario. It's like 100 degrees outside. Oh, it's awful. The only reason to go there is to take the bar exam.
Apparently there's some train that like passes by the hotel at like some ungodly hour.
They're all stressed out, and understandably so. Crazy, phones ringing off the hook, people running around everywhere.
This is it.
If there's something wrong, you know, they're gonna argue about it.
Itty bitty little porch.
I think there are going to be an awful lot of lawyers in California when this thing's over.
It's not a question of how smart you are, it's how much you can memorize. So I can memorize, believe me.
This is the friendly good luck giraffe. A lot of goody did me last time.
If I don't pass the first time, my offer is rescinded. And basically, so yeah, I kind of have no job.
I'm very anxious, that's what I am. I have a high level of anxiety.
The bar exam is divided up into 3 days and 6 segments.
If you fail one day of the California bar, you're done.
You have a morning and afternoon session of essay exam writing, of multiple choice answers, and then on the 3rd day you have a morning and afternoon session of the performance or clinical exam.
My view of the bar exam was it took, I think, a 75 to pass. If you scored a 76, you studied too much.
If being a lawyer is stressful, then having a degree of stress built into the exam is also a necessary element.
It was a nightmare.
It's cavernous. It's like being in a giant basketball gymnasium.
You walk in and there is a big old freaking warehouse, and it's like metal and bad lighting, and it's just enormous, enormous warehouse.
When they start to type, it sounds like hard rain, really hard rain. Everybody who's been to law school has experienced the burr of in a lecture hall. But when 5,000 people decide to start typing at the same time, it's loud.
I didn't bring earplugs, and I started to look around and think, is this going to be a problem? A lot of people have all their little things to make them comfortable. I brought a pillow.
This is my goodie bag because my brother and I both contracted irritable bowel syndrome. Thank you to the California State Bar. Thank you very much.
I forgot my watch, and you can't have a digital watch. You have to have one with hands on it.
This is my Loratadine, my allergy medicine. This is my Ginkgo for clear thinking, but it's not FDA approved.
I remember it was so intense. Well, we were all sitting ready for the exam to begin, and the proctor said, "You may begin." And at that point, the guy across the table from me launched his breakfast on the table. And you know, nobody stopped.
It was a nightmare.
In 1960, the bar review course was segregated. You could not take the bar review course with the white kids that were standing for the bar. I vividly remember the first bar exam. I had to excuse myself to go to the restroom. And we're in the General Assembly of the Georgia Legislature, and the restroom is off to the side. And as I head urgently to the restroom, standing between me and the restroom is the proctor, a white man, who says, "The bathroom for colored people is downstairs," which is 3 flights down the stairs. And I remember saying to the proctor, I said, Mr. Proctor, this real property exam is real hard. And I have to pee real badly. And if you don't move out of my way, then I'm going to pee on you. And the proctor stepped aside, and I went and peed in the white John.
There were a lot of words I had never heard of.
I just came out feeling not great.
They'll definitely be on the fail list.
It was awful.
Hello. One torts question, no problem. Con law civ pro, no problem. Boom, 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 I know all my material. The people around me, they're talking about like the practice exams at Barbary and practice and the homework, and I'm like, you guys, I didn't do a single graded assignment. I didn't do any practice exams.
It was like all towards like false imprisonment and negligence, no problem.
You know, when you've done it as many times as I have, it's not that I'm almost in shape for it in some ways.
And it's a third over.
And what did you say?
No, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. It kind of reminded me of when I was wrestling in high school, and there'd be these moments in the match when you were getting pushed, and you knew you had to push back then, otherwise it was going to be over. And I pushed back, and I don't know if it was enough or not, but
But you know what I'm saying? There's a mnemonic way. Why I goes with that and J
You know, when you don't get enough sleep, you just kind of roll with it. I'm just gonna drink a lot of coffee and then a lot more coffee at lunch.
There's a lot of people that are kind of anxious. A young lady cried yesterday, real nervous.
200 questions, multiple choice. Sometimes testing 5 different rules.
It's 100 in the morning and 100 in the afternoon, which isn't enough time.
What's on the bar exam? Sally was hit by a truck driven by Fred. A lawyer and Sally entered into a contingency agreement whereby lawyer would receive 1/3 of any recovery to Sally. Counsel for Fred offered $15,000 to settle the case. Sally was reluctant to accept the offer. Realizing the case could drag on with little chance of recovery, lawyer took Sally out for an expensive dinner at which they shared 2 bottles of wine. Afterward, lawyer took Sally to his apartment where they engaged in consensual sexual relations. Later that evening, lawyer persuaded Sally to accept the settlement. What, if any, ethical violations has lawyer committed? Discuss.
The contracts one was kind of like, I had to seriously look at it and be like, this is not gonna mess with me. I don't know like about how other people felt, but I thought it was really primed for the UCC, even though the UCC totally didn't apply.
So I applied all the UCC law. I said how the common law differs. So I'm hoping I'm going to pick up points on legal analysis.
I'm hoping, praying that people didn't get messed up by that.
I felt like I was just rocking it because I read enough information and wrote a brief in 3 hours, and I was like, God, I'd be such a good attorney.
If you find anybody that's like, oh, they're wrong. They're just wrong.
Ontario is ridiculous. I need to get back to Santa Monica.
This is my gestalt work that I need to do.
So today I'm actually the last day of the bar. I'm gonna wear mascara to celebrate. I'm ready!
I think we're going into the last part of it with a good chance.
Quite frankly, this thing is hit or miss. It doesn't matter. Like, I know lots and lots of legal knowledge. It's hit or miss.
I have an interest in getting through this thing and carrying on with my life.
My mom and I talk about his memory a lot, and she says he just wanted you to be happy, but he would have been very proud of your accomplishment.
I'm this ultimate perfectionist, but that's because when things aren't perfect in the home, you do whatever you can on the outside or to make the outside world think you're perfect.
I'm actually really excited. I want to work. I want to bring home my paycheck. I mean, it feels like it's all been building up to this.
Well, it's personal at this point. It's between the bar examiners and me, and I'm not willing to back down.
You feel that support, Dad?
I feel that support.
You feel that support?
You feel that?
Hey, Mom. No, tell him I'm not gonna quit. Not this time.
Special announcement. Did you purchase or receive by gift before November 27, 1990, a Milli Vanilli recording, a ticket to a concert at which Milli Vanilli performed, or Milli Vanilli merchandise? If so, listen carefully to this important message about a pending Milli Vanilli lawsuit that may affect your rights.
Bad taste is part of the cost of a free society.
I'm here to talk to you about what we commonly refer to as slips, trips, and falls.
In the early 70s, lawyers were not allowed to advertise.
I'm not a criminal. I was never arrested before. Turn left.
It became a national debate. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled favorably to us, and I think we were the first lawyers to have any kind of advertising, actually, interestingly, since Abraham Lincoln.
It's about time.
After him, it was prohibited as being unseemly.
Do you need money immediately?
Law today, tragically, for better or worse, is a business.
There's a saying, of course, that, you know, one lawyer in a small town will starve and two will make a living.
Let's be real and let's not bullshit. I mean, lawyers want to be successful and they want to make money.
It's a system that's powerfully driven by economics.
I promise you, if you think you've got a lawsuit, you will find a lawyer to take the case.
I think that people, the first thing they think of when they're in a situation is that they want to sue.
Don't blame the lawyers on that one.
I mean, our legal system can't survive, and my profession can't survive, unless people are being litigious.
They have to have a client to go to court.
Lawyers don't bring litigation on their own behalf. They're representing somebody.
There are rational solutions out there.
I think it's amazing to me is how the average member of the public is bought into this crap about frivolous lawsuits.
The real answer, it's quite simple, but it's not often employed, is to say no.
At some point, personal responsibility has to kick in.
Oh, it's terrible that so many plaintiffs are winning. You're the plaintiffs, folks!
Well, you're in my office in Fresno at McCormick Barstow, the law firm I work at. Everything's just kind of fallen into place.
You excited for Mommy to come home? Yeah.
It still doesn't feel real. Like, still sometimes I look around and I'm like, do I actually work at a law firm? And then I remind myself that I'm not actually a lawyer. So.
Fun, huh? Yeah. You can find out how she did.
Today at 6 p.m., which is in about, 7 hours, I get my bar results. I'm scared. Yeah. I mean, if I don't pass, technically my offer will be rescinded.
It's an enormous amount of pressure. And I don't think anyone should have to go through that much pressure for their vocation.
Today we have my first paycheck as a halfway employed person with a JD who may or may not be bar certified.
The lovely Leah is
Hi,
here.
Dad.
How you doing, babe?
Good, how are you?
Huh?
I'm getting
Okay.
nervous.
Oh, I'll be fine. We're waiting for the countdown so that I can get on the internet and put the numbers in and find out whether or not I passed the exam.
I honestly think that he passed. I really do.
I'm just hanging out with my roommate, catching up on a Friday night. I guess I can check my bar results today.
I think I am more excited to find out.
You know, you can only do this so many times.
My dad purchased this for me at a powwow, and it has a bear claw on it because I'm a member of the Bear Clan. There's all different kinds. The Bear Clan's like the warrior clan, the strong, yeah.
The time that I remember the most about the exam was that I opened up the performance on the last day and I said, I can do this. I think I might pass. What if I passed?
You know, we have 6 minutes. I'm a little amped. I'm a little hyper.
They're uploading the new website so you can type in your thing.
The infamous friendly good luck giraffe.
Oh my god, it's updating itself every minute. It's not working. The freaking website is not working. Fuck!
I usually don't do it this way. I wait till it's way late at night and I check it by myself in the dark.
Okay.
2 minutes! 2 minutes!
Oh my god, there's like 2 minutes. Oh my god.
6 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock.
Huh, that's funny, it's not coming up.
We're just waiting. The black bar is not moving very quickly.
It's just not even letting me on the website.
It's now 6:06.
Go, 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 go.
People that had to find out at 6:01. Sissy Marys. All of them.
Katie passed, yeah. She's a lawyer. Why can't I log on? Oh, okay, so the page came up.
I totally passed.
You passed?
Yay! Yay! Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did pass.
Nope, didn't pass. Because it's not named not on the pass list.
It says the name above appears on the pass list for the July 2006 California bar exam. Okay, I don't, all right, focus.
Hey, Daddy. Well, it looks like I'll be in Ontario again.
Okay, well, here's what you do, Joe. You begin now getting ready for it. Okay? And you make it the final push. That's all you have to do. You get focused and you just do it.
Okay, Dad. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's not exactly celebratory news. It's the fact that everybody's like, oh, I know you passed, I know you passed, I know you passed. Because I've always done things like that. I just couldn't pull the rabbit out of my hat this time.
No, he feels it's better to just keep taking it.
Yep.
You know? Maybe to get closer and closer and closer. I don't know, we'll have to look at the scores and see how you did.
Yeah, we'll look at the scores.
Mommy gets to be a lawyer. I totally passed. Look, the name above appears on the process for the July 2006 California bar exam. I can practice law now. Oh my God, the implications are astounding. Guess what, Golden State? I passed the bar!
I was really able to enjoy the beautiful things of my wedding because I wasn't stressing about other things.
Not being able to take the bar exam in July was like, really hard, devastating, but you know what? It's in the past. I am able to learn more now that I'm relaxed, and I think I'm gonna be okay.
And I am totally confident that she's gonna pass. Totally confident.
I'm also teaching legal writing at the People's College of Law. The way repudiation is going to be given to you in an essay.
I'm a volunteer instructor, and I love to see when people are able to produce a product that's really going to get them over the bar. I do want to pass that bar exam. Every day there's something that needs to be done, and I need my license.
Today's the swearing-in ceremony. I'm officially a lawyer today.
I tell my kids, this is exciting. I get to help make a difference in the world.
It's lawyers that stand between anarchy and the rule of law.
If you think America with lawyers is bad, imagine a country without lawyers.
You must never, ever lose your humanity.
Lawyers of today are sort of the knights in the sense that they're the ones that actually do the fighting.
Solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Lawyers really serve more as a mirror of the society they serve, as opposed to, the engine that runs it.
I will faithfully discharge the duties of an attorney and counselor at law.
We need lawyers in litigation the way we need nuclear missiles to protect our freedom. But we try not to use the missiles.
On behalf of the judges of the Los Angeles Superior Court, congratulations and best of luck.
See, all the lawyer is, they're the writers and readers of bull. Here's how these do. They give you a motherfucking contract. You know it's called a contract? Because they conning your ass and they're going to track you for the lifetime of that document.
There once was a man named Von Bulow whose conviction constituted a new low. A doctor from Nantucket said Klaus had stuck it, and the jury told Klaus to go.
Look, I'm going to devote the rest of my life to tort reform. I think that that's far more important than tort reform. I don't know much about torts, but I know a lot about torts.
They do all that writing for 7 pages when they could have just put in 1 paragraph. We will be you.
I've got some of my new cards that have the magnets on back so they stick to the ambulance if you throw them. You know? Okay.
When you walk in the courtroom, what do they have there? Lady Justice. Have you seen this bitch? She is blindfolded, holding the balance in a hand. Meaning, if you got enough money, we didn't see the crime.
We can have a trial by jury, or we can do the Japanese way and get the Yakuza to go out and kill you, person that hurt you. You know, just make a choice.
Joe Jamel is a short, pugnacious fella.
Mark Lanier was representing a lawyer that I was suing.
I had my hair slicked back with some gel. And he walked in and he looks at me and said,
"Hey, jellyhead, you need to go wash your hair."
"What you got in your hair, boy?" I looked down and said, "What?" "Your hair looks goofy."
"You got that day glow in there, whatever. What do you got there?"
And I said, "Well, actually, sir, it only looks goofy to people who are over 70. If you're under 70, it looks cool."
Next morning, I get a case of this stuff sent up here to me. So I wrote him and thanked him.
I will tell you, Joe sent me a follow-up email that says this stuff just makes your hair stiff, and I'm not sure what part of my body I'm going to use it on.